morning, audience. I have with me today a great individual that you're just going to love, and most of you probably know who she is if you've been living in America at all. If you know anything about fashion design, then you know about Miss Van Miller. I can't even dare to talk about what you've accomplished in your lifetime. And we're going to do a little bit of that because your bio, I should have had your bio in front of me, but it really doesn't cover who you really are and all that you've accomplished. So today we're going to tap into some of those things. We're going to tap into some of the things that's happening in your personal life. We're also going to go with the signature question: how is your mother and daughter relationship? And we're going to dive into that and look at some of the stuff inside of that relationship and see if we can come up with some solutions and some tips to help improve the relationship if it needs to be improved. But mainly for me personally, I'm honored to have you. I'm honored that God has put us together, and it's just been like I've been knowing you for a lifetime. And we see the connections, you know what I mean? You know, God take people away, and then he bring in other people at different stages in your life. And right now, God is just really covering me with some powerful people, women of God that are serious about what they do. That, as God said, I'm bringing you women that are seasoned, that has gone through, that has stood for me. And so I'm gonna connect you with some of these ladies, and even with Eller, what's her name? Elder
Adams. Yes.
I'm trying to think. I don't want to call her Linda. Elder Adams last night. Linda Adams. We talked for 2.5 hours, and she sounds just like you. And I'm like, wow, who am I talking to? Am I talking to Van? Am I talking to Elder Adams? I'm very confused here. And there's a similarity in looks. And what really topped it off was we had this. She said, what's your birthday? I said, December 26th. Like, no, that's not. She first took her 5 minutes to get herself together before she could tell me. By that time, I figured it out. Must be her birthday too. So it's been an honor, and I thank you for introducing me to her.
You're
God
welcome.
is doing some wonderful things, but I don't want to take too much time on about me and what's going on with me, because mothers and daughters are here to hear about Van Miller. And the reason that I think God has placed you on the show is because we know that you have some concerns.
Yes.
Anyone come on, we're dealing with concerns about mother and daughter issues, and every mother and daughter have their own issues, set of issues. And then they have to design a plan to help them resolve those issues. I can't use your plan for me and my daughter, and you can't use my plan for you and your daughter. So what we do here at My Mother, My Daughter is look at you as an individual, and as a Christian clinical psychologist, I try to use what I know from practice, but I also use the Holy Spirit. I release myself to the Holy Spirit so that he can help us, you and I both, listen and come up with what he thinks that we should do or you should do with the relationship. So now tell the audience who you are as Van Miller, the designer, the award-winning design. Let's start with your latest award-winning design, and then we'll go to your television role and your stardom into the movie. I'm excited for you.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. I guess my newest collection that I've done is called Taking Off the Mask to New Life. And it was a piece that was truly given to me by God, because I'd been called out a couple of times in a couple of different places as being Miriam from the Bible. And I was like, Miriam carried water. And I'm like, but I'm not carrying water. I'm carrying instruction. And so, I've taken that piece on in my life, that I'm Miriam and I carry instruction. So I always make sure that what I'm giving people is sound, and I know it to be true. And so I created, for my birthday, that was June the 7th, I created an entire collection, which is 20 pieces. And I was lying in my bed, and God said, these pieces have to be named for women in the Bible. So each one of the pieces depicts a woman from the Bible. It is absolutely amazing. And we've already started to edit and do some things with it. And we're waiting for our lady that's going to do our voiceover for each one of the characters. And I'm just excited, I'm just really, really excited about it.
I know you are. I am too. And I saw some of your collections, but mainly in the Mother Daughter Bonding magazine, which now you are the editor.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. I am excited. We're going to do some great work together. But we have a few of your collections in there, and a few of them, I think you have Miriam in there.
Miriam is in there. Yes, she is. Yes.
And so people can get a taste of your flair. But I also, and I don't like to market before, but I want them to go to your website. We're going to tell them afterwards so they can go and see the designs, and they'll see the black and white that's got my name on it. So, so I'm already putting
and I'm going to create that for you because you keep talking about.
That's right. That's right. I need a black and white collection.
Yes.
And I'm going to be a Van Miller girl.
Yes.
Okay. So now with that being said, Van, just say just a little bit about your role in this movie. Just tell us a little bit before we get into the deep stuff. So I'm just trying to get it set up here.
Ooh, okay, which movie? Because I have several. Like which movie?
Well, excuse me. I'm talking about the one that you're in now, that you're practicing after we get off the show. That one.
Okay. That is called Driving Chronicles. Okay. And that is with Joe Williams, and he is an elder at Faith Christian Center over in the other side of Atlanta. And I play Marjorie, and I'm the mother, and we're dealing with COVID, so I won't give away the movie. We're dealing with COVID, and I lose my husband to COVID.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you. And audience, why I'm telling you this is because the reason I'm setting it up this way, and you may think, oh, she just bragging about Van Miller. No, I'm letting you know, in spite of all that you're going to hear behind this, you're going to see that the God in her is keeping her going. Yeah. The God in her is saying, I have work for you to do, Van.
Yes,
I have work for you to do. Focus on me. We sometimes get so focused on the world, what people say, our families, that we forget we belong to God.
That's correct. That's
Jesus
correct.
came and taught us a lesson, and the lesson was to focus. You're here for a purpose, and he taught us how to do it. He demonstrated it. So now, in order for you to find out where what's in her personal life, then you can see how God's hands are on her. And when his hands on her, she's carrying a lot of burden and pain in her heart, but she is also functioning as a woman with not a care in the world. Amen. And that's amazing. That's amazing, Yeah.
Amen.
So that's why I wanted you to hear the part of Van Miller, the woman that believes in God and trusts in God to order her steps. Just like Jesus came to the synagogue and said, they come in, Jesus, your mother out here and your father and your brother, they're looking for you. And he said, my mother and my father, I'm in here. This is my mother and my father. I'm here about my father's business. I'm paraphrasing, but you understand what I'm saying. I'm about my father's business. And so when I look at Van, she's about her father's business. Even though it doesn't look like that to the world, it doesn't look like that to her family, she knows. And when God brought us together, we can connect because I too am about my father's business.
Amen.
People are going to talk about you, and people are going to disagree about you. And you know what? I embrace that now, Van. The reason I embrace that because God told me, he said, let me tell you something. You worry about what people think about you?
Yeah.
He said, there are going to be people that like you. There are going to be people that love you. There are going to be people that dislike you, and there are going to be people that hate you.
That's right.
And that's the way it's going to be. So you might as well get used to it. He said, my son had to go through that. He had people that loved him, liked him, disliked him, and hate him, and they crucified him. So if you're going to be like Jesus, then you're going to expect that's the persecution. So when you got people that don't like you And people that hate you, you're like, oh, I'm in good company because, you know, Jesus had to, I have got to go through persecution because he already told me it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But in the midst of it all, we still got to be about our Father's business.
Amen. Amen.
That's why we're here today. I feel like I'm preaching right now.
No, that's okay. You're speaking to me. You're speaking to me.
Yeah, that's what this is about. So now, Van Miller, let's go into the world that you're living in right now. I know, and I send you my love and my sympathy to you because you just lost your father. And then you couldn't go to his funeral. What, you know, that to me is the most hurting thing that a person can go through. Yeah. And then a few weeks later, you went and spent some time with your sister who was in hospice. Yes. And then she wanted you all to go away and not come back and give her, she didn't want anybody to come back and be sad. So you didn't get to see her being cremated or buried. So, you know, that's a lot on a person within a 2 months, 3 months period of time. That's a lot. And then having the pressure of people not telling you what you can and cannot do. Yes. So now tell me what it feels like to go through this so that families that are going through, they understand in spite of it all, you still are getting calls every day to dress people, to do functions, and you're still saying yes. How do you do that, Van Miller? Well, Dr. Fletcher, I think that it is, just like you said earlier, it is being called and God placing us on a journey. And no matter what is happening on the sides of us, we still have something that he has set in front of us to accomplish. And so, you know, a lot of people like, oh, you know, they've said, oh, well, you need to grieve, you need to do this, you need to cry, it's okay. But, you know, God hasn't told me to cry. And so, you know, I found it hard to do. So I just get up every day and I continue to do what it is that he's destined and placed in my life. I think the hardest thing for me was my dad passing and not being able to go and attend his service. I think that will be the hardest thing that I've ever had to do in life. But, you know, I asked God to let me know what would my dad say. And my dad always asked me, how is your health? And I said to myself, my dad would say, well, how's your health? And then I knew from that he didn't want me to be traveling across 3 states, you know, to come to his service. And so I'm okay with that. And I know that he's in a better place. Yeah. He's in a better place. And you know, I tell people, when you love somebody and you're honest from your heart and you give them all that you can give them, yes, we want to see them at the very end so that we can have closure. Yeah. You know, that's what the funeral is all about. It's about closure. Yeah. Because it's not going to bring back any memories or, you know, you can't bring back the life. No. But, you know, you go through that and then you come up with your sister. Yes. How did that feel when you came back? Now you got to deal with your sister. Well, I think the thing for us with her was that at first they told us that she was going to have 2 months. She'd been battling metastatic breast cancer since 2016. And so, you know, we went through the thing of her coding. She lost her sight. We've been through on the up roads, the down roads, the low. I mean, we've been on all the streets with her and her health. And they told us that she had about 2 months. She told me personally that she had about 2 months. And then they called back like 2 days later and they said, well, we want the family to come because she probably has a week or less. And so we all went there and everything. And it was just a really trying space. But, you know, she had talked to us prior in the last year. She had, you know, been writing down the things. So she sort of had everything laid out. You know, and then when she said to us, well, when I transition, she says, nobody's going to be there but my kids. And that was a hard thing, Dr. Fletcher, for her to say that to us, that you have
5 other siblings, and you say to us, I don't want you all to be here when I transition. So, I've been talking about it. She transitioned on July the 3rd at 12:23 in the morning. It's stuck in my mind, and I think that it will forever be there. But for myself and the rest of my siblings, it is a hard thing for us because you truly have to live on the memories that we had of her, because there's no memorial, there's no funeral, there's no nothing for us to attend. And so we're just dealing with that piece of it right now. But, we still know we grew up in church, so we know God is good, and we know that we are live to die. And so, that is a thing that keeps us going. But, I would admonish, people that are living in this time, because people are losing people every day. I would admonish you to really, really talk to that person while you have a chance to talk to them, because, when they close their eyes or when they're laying there and they can't speak to you anymore, then there is no need of you trying to apologize what it is that you need to say. You need to get closure while you can get closure.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And I'm glad that, you're dealing with it the way that you are through the Spirit of God. But the good thing about it, I remember the time when you said, well, it was the day of, and I think it was the day of the cremation, and then you were kind of sad. And I said, well, let's just honor her. Let's laugh. Let's find something funny about what the two of you shared together. And let's, because that's what she wanted. And that's what God said, is that we are supposed to, rejoice. But, God don't ask you to do things easily. He know it would be hard to do it, but he's saying, trust me, because especially when somebody's a Christian, they're coming back, they're in a good place. So, it's to rejoice, but still the human in us want to be sad because we missed that body. And
and I think one of the biggest things too was when you spoke to me about writing the letter. Writing a letter, and I'm still working on my letter. And you said to write a letter and then to, put a chair or something in front of you to sit and read the letter. And then, then you're going to be able to cry. And that may be where my tears are, for her and for my dad, because, there's really, no closure with that. And I even passed it on to my siblings. And so they're writing their letters as well. And I told them, I said, Dr. Bessie said, even, write a note to her, if you, so, you can write some side notes and pin it to the letter and, and then read it to them. So I definitely think that one thing I would say to our people, it is definitely a good thing to talk to someone in a profession that deals with the mind. It is so important, because our people think that, oh, you know what, if I go and talk to somebody, they're going to think that I'm crazy. I would say, we all need to talk to someone professionally. And that was something that I did last year, and I found it, to be very, very good. So, I really thank you for that, for myself, as well as for my family, because it was a time, and, and even, I've said to my sister, I said, well, just write it down. I just keep saying that, just write it down. Yeah. So I just love you for that,
Oh, thank you. Yeah. And once we write something down, it pulls it out of our subconscious mind and puts it into a place in the conscious mind. And then once you've done that, it gets into your intro conversations. Now you can deal with it, because now you're going to address those conversations. And when she's sitting in front of you, her spirit, we are spiritual beings. So as she sit in the chair in front of you, you are talking to her from spirit to spirit. And this is what I think, this is how I feel. And when you get all of that out, it's just like something's going to lift off of you, because we're dealing spirit to spirit. And then you can walk away with closure, because now she knows.
Yeah, my sister that's next to me, she says the first thing I'm going to tell her is that I don't like how you left us. That's what That's what she said. She says, I'm
cheated.
going to tell.
You cheated us. You cheated us out of our goodbyes and all that.
Yeah.
But the good thing about it, you spent the whole week prior to with her, day in and day out. So she allowed you that. She didn't have to allow you that. You know, we have to realize people make choices about their lives. And in spite of what we think, they have the final word. They have the decision. And you want to honor that, even though you're thinking it's unfair. But I'm not angry with it. Like, I don't like the way you left me and how I feel. So let me get that off right now. And then she's going to be fine after she get that statement out, because that's the statement that's holding up right now, you know?
Yes.
So now, Van, let's get to the point where we're talking about the signature question. Yes. How's your mother and daughter relationship? I want to start with your mother. Let's start with your mother and daughter relationship, and then I want to transition into your relationship with your daughters.
My mother passed at 46, and I just always remember my mom just struggling. It was 6 of us, and she was just always struggling to, take care of us. My dad left when I was 10 years old, and I'm the oldest of the 6 siblings, and my baby sister was like 3 months old when my dad left. But I just always remember my mom trying to go out to work, and basically I became the mother, I feel like, because I was the one that was having to stay out of school and then do all the things and take care of all these children. So I feel like, I spent a lifetime with my siblings, being their sister as well as a mom, to a certain degree. And I think the one thing that I got from it is that it is hard to be a mother if you haven't seen a mother. And when my mom passed,
that's interesting. That's it right there. Go ahead.
Yeah, and when my mom passed, and I'll tell people when we serve Living for God, my mother was singing in church on a Sunday and fell dead in church. So to be in that place and that happened, it makes it hard, because I was angry with God with that. But my brother said, I don't ever remember Mom telling us that she loved us. And I thought about it, and I don't ever remember my mom saying that she loved us. And I said to him, I said, we know that she loved us because she kept all 6 of us together as a single parent. And she, just like my dad ran off, she could have just ran off and just left us to the state or to family members or, whatever. But she didn't. She stayed there with us. So I don't think that you always have to use the word love or say the word love to love a person, and that they love you. So, I know that she, without a shadow of doubt, that she loved us, but she just didn't know how to be a mom. And, my daughter kept asking me the question, tell me your story. So I went back and I asked my mom's sister about 2 years ago now, I need you to tell me about my mom, because I was so young when she left. And I said, I need you to tell me about my mom. And she told me the story. My mom never had a mom.
Wow.
My mom never had a mom. So then she became a mom. She didn't know how, she had never seen nobody do it. So how could she fill that space? She just knew that she was a woman having babies, but she really didn't know what to do with these babies.
Yeah.
And so, it helped me to understand, we're always doing something, but we may not know how to do it.
Yeah.
And at my age now, I feel like that was my thing. I got married when I was 17, so I was a very, very young mother. And then my mother passed in the midst. And then in turn, my brother and my sister had to be taken care of again. So here I was, young, married, had a kid of my own. And then my sister and brother came back for me to mother them. So I feel like I've spent most of my life taking care of the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I'm hearing here is that it's just like Ezekiel 16:44.
Yeah.
As is the mother, so is her daughter.
Yes.
That is right there in the Bible. Most
Yeah.
people have never heard of it. I was talking to Elder Adams last night, and she said, I never heard that. She got the Bible immediately and looked it up. She said, my God, it's in here. I'm like, yeah, when I go to churches and I mention that when I'm speaking, and the first thing I remember one time I was saying it, and the wife of the pastor, she didn't want me to see her doing it. She just easily moved her hand over to the side, and I'm watching her now, and she pulling the Bible over, like a kid trying to move something, thinking the mama's, they're looking straight in your eyes. Yeah. And she was in there, she glanced down trying to find it, like, we're going to check this out. I've never heard that. And that goes to show you, I don't care how many years you've read the Bible and how many times you've read the Bible.
You missed stuff.
You're never going to get it all. You're never going to get it all. But that's where the trend started. Your mother didn't have what she needed to be a mother, to know how to mother you guys. And so she was doing all that she knew how to do, from what she probably heard somebody say, or what she's seen, and trying to model all of that. But you talking about a single mom with 6 children, if she's never had someone to say, I love you, she couldn't tell you all, I love you, because it's not even in her consciousness or unconsciousness to be able to pull it up, or to come. See, your unconscious mind will force information that you've learned up to your conscious mind in a given situation. She had nothing to force her to the point where she could look at you and say, and feel, the words come out of her mouth. But then again, you don't have it to give to your children.
Right.
And so that's probably some of what's going on with your daughter, when she says, Mom, tell me your story. Because, they're looking for, they're modeling. Kids look at their friends' mothers and their relationship, and they want to know, well, why my mother and I don't have this relationship? And so then they start measuring at an early age. And then we get to the point where you were saying, you had what, 3 children?
I have 3 children, yes.
3 children, 2 girls and a boy. So then all of a sudden, take us back to when you were raising the kids, and then when you decide that you was gonna, they all went to college, and then you decided you was gonna do van.
Yeah, well, I had been married like 6 years, and I was married a total of 26 years in the house. I was married more than that, but in the house, I was married 26 years that I stayed there. I think that I knew after year 6 that I really wanted to just end the marriage. But I said, these kids did not ask to be here. And I knew what it was like to grow up in a single parent home. And I did not want to raise children by myself and in that situation, because then I felt that it would be being a repetitive thing. And so I stayed. But I think that deep down, I probably resent having stayed at this age. If somebody would ask me, I really think that I probably should have left. But, I've always said that in a relationship, if anybody should be suffering, it should be the man and the woman, and not children. And I tell people that all the time. Those children didn't ask to be here. So if anybody needs to be suffering, it should be the man and the woman. But I went to work at 15. I started working in a grocery store at 15. So I spent most of my life working. And so I just always said, you know what, I'm going to have more and live better than how I was raised. And I'm able to truthfully, admit that I worked, and I can't tell you about my children's lives. I provided for them to be able to do all the things that they wanted to do, to go to college, and and I'm a proud mother because they're all successful and they're all doing what it is that they do. But it definitely has caused me my relationship with my kids, and it's a hard space at 62, to realize that you give somebody something and then when they get older, they turn around and they put it in your face. So, it's a hard space. I thought I had crossed the road because after being married 26 years, I put my clothes in the car and I drove away. And I started my life all over again, with nothing. And I tell people, even now I say, you did this one time, you can do this again. You can start all over. You can start over every day if that's what it is that you want.
That's exactly right. Once you make the decision, you can start over.
You can just start over. And so I'm a mother that if I didn't tell you I was a mother, you wouldn't know. I have no pictures, no baby pictures, no family pictures, no anything. So that is another thing. As a mother, you have to understand if you're going to move away and start over again, that means that's over. That part of that life is over, and you have to create a new life for you. And I feel that in doing what I've done, I would have never accomplished that if I had stayed there. And I myself, I was like always sick when I was there in the marriage and being a mother. I was sick. I was in a cancer clinic for about 5 years, and I never had cancer.
Wow.
So I feel like my life was sick, or the house was sick, or something was sick in that space. And I left that, and I was never bothered with that again. So, your life can kill you.
That's true.
Your life can kill you. So, I just say, starting over is not bad. Let's say that. It's not bad. I'm, all the things that God has allowed me, because, I didn't do it on my own.
Yes.
God has allowed me to come to Georgia and to accomplish so many things that, I can truly be proud of. Even if family don't tell you they're proud of you, I can be proud that God chose me. And I know that. And I'm always excited every day to get up and say, well, Lord, what are we doing today?
I know.
And
isn't it wonderful?
Yes. And he just say, okay, well, we doing nothing today,
Love it. I love it. Yes,
so, we've learned that, we've had to learn that. And I've had to learn to love me. And I would tell women, I came and started over, and I didn't even know who I was. I had lived for so many other people. I lived being the Joneses. I had lived being that mother that provided everything, even though I wasn't there. I have 2 daughters. They were both cheerleaders. I never saw them cheer. I saw them with the cheerleading suits on, uniforms on, but I never saw them cheer. They ran track. I never saw them run track because I was always in management. So, back in the earlier years, you would go, if you were a manager, you could spend 65, 75 hours in a store, and that's all the life you had, doing that. My daughter was the first dancer at East Carolina University, the first Black dancer. Mm-hmm. I never saw her dance.
Wow.
And so now I would admonish parents to, just take that time.
Because it always shows up. It always shows up, Van. That's why she's angry now. Because when she looked back over her life, she said, who is this person? Mm-hmm. She's supposed to be my mother, but she's never really mothered me.
I've never been there. I've never been there.
And so now it's hard for her to come back. It's going to take, it can happen and it will happen because God has put us together. And when God put someone together with me, he already got the plan laid out.
Well,
so you all can look when the coronavirus is up, we all going to go to the Bahamas and lay up and just have a good time. You see what I'm saying? So it's going to happen. I'm not worried about that. But what I admire about you is the fact that you recognized that I have not been there. Some people don't recognize. See, once you recognize something, then we have something to work with. But if you can't see it, can't feel it, and don't understand where the error took place, then
Yeah.
it's hard to help somebody.
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
a workable candidate, and I know your daughter loves you. She's
Mm-hmm.
really just, those little jabs and little things that she says.
Let me tell you.
It's just, it's her way of spanking you. Kids
Yeah.
got a way of spanking you. They don't clean the
Yeah.
room. They go in there, clean the room. And they don't clean the room, and you get all angry, get shot. They happy because they know what? I got you. So that's their little spanking. So when she does that, she's spanking you because she still have not had that honest conversation with you.
Yeah, in saying that,
What's that conversation?
Yeah, in saying that, hearing myself say that this morning, it definitely makes me reflect back to my mom. I'm spitting image of what my mom did. My mom wasn't there. She was all, her job was to try to make sure she could feed 6 children and do what she needed to do. So she wasn't there. My job, my thing in reverse was the same thing. Make sure my kids have everything that they needed. And I wasn't there.
But see, the thing of it is though, you are doing exactly what you were taught.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, that's why mothers, I tell you when I look in this camera, I tell you, as is the mother, so is the daughter.
Yeah.
You have got to realize what you look like.
Yeah.
What you look like. How are you being? What are you saying? What is your energy? Because we only become our mothers. As much as we try not to become our mothers, we are our mothers. Around 55, 60, you can hang it up. Look in the mirror. Who do you see? Your mother looking back at you. You even start to look like her. So the robbery is that it started before your mother. And you just don't know the story of her mother. But you know she didn't have a mother. Why didn't she have a mother? Where did that mother go? What happened to the mother? She, in turn, probably didn't have a mother prior to her. So now you go out and you says, you know what? I'm going to live a better life than I was given. So I'm going to work hard, make sure my children have all the things that they need. They all graduated from college. That's the good thing. You said they all got cars when they came out. And you're thinking, wow, I've done good. They are they're blessed. They got a strong foot. They all have master's degrees. And I'm so proud. But they're still looking and saying, no, who are you? Who are you? You didn't mother me. They're thinking they raised themselves. You know what I'm saying? It's in other words, we made it in spite of you, not knowing that the food that was on the table, the clothes that was on their back, the money that took care of all those sports, all of those things came from those 65 to 70 hours. Yeah. But that's the thing about being a mother. God is expecting us to be able to, you got to figure it out, mothers. You got to put that time for the children. As long you can be the career woman all you want, but God is expecting you to mother your children. That's why I said, this is why I believe that God has allowed coronavirus to come in and everybody's home. Look at all the mothers taking care of their children now. Look at the fathers are seeing their wife and their husband and their children for the first time. They're coming up with games. They're like, whose children are these? Yeah, they're your children. And God is saying, I want you to put back in. This is now regenerating, vitalizing the family, because families had just absolutely, the term family was gone. Yeah. People just doing what they want to do. The children in the room eating dinner, somebody on the television, everybody's on the phone. You can't have a decent conversation. There's no family dinner. God said, no, hold it. Stop the churches. No, you're not going to depend on the pastors. You're going to go home, and then I'm looking for you to trust me. Are we really trusting him? Are we really going to him? I'm telling you, this is the time to get it right, mothers. This is the time. And the setting of the family is with the mothers. So she wants that honest conversation with you. She doesn't know how to say that or how to ask for it, but that's what she's craving for. And she wants you to say, I'm sorry. And she wants to be able to forgive you. I know that, because children, when they do that little try to say little nasty words or just do little things.
She told me, I don't need a mother. I don't need you to be a mother. I just need you to be a friend. And I was like, that was the most shocking piece, because it just like tore into me, because I'm like, a friend didn't have a baby. Right. Your mother had you. And I'm not going to be your friend because I'm your mother.
Right.
You know, that's the hardest
thing. And you
thing.
can't go back and change what has happened. What
Right.
we have to do, like you said in the beginning, we can start all over again.
Yeah.
We can start from where we are. We just have to go back, look at what you're feeling, how the two of you feeling, and put that conversation on the table and have an honest conversation. Yeah, okay, I messed up. You're going to have to fess up, man. I messed up. Mothers are not perfect people. And daughters are not perfect people. So now you're grown, you have a child, you know a little bit what it's like. So now I am going to apologize for all that I've done wrong. And I'm here to answer any question that you may have for me. And sit down and take that pen and paper and take that little 3-minute timer and let her go 3 minutes, you go 3 minutes, and you go back and forth until you get to the bottom of that one issue. Then you say to her, now this is how I felt, and this is what, and then you just keep going until you chop it off and just chop. Now you get into some part of forgiveness. And once you get to the point of forgiveness, all you can say to her, I can't change it, but I would love for us to start where we are now. I do that even with God. When I just messed up and done something, I just said, Lord, when I repent, I said, Lord, can we just start all over again? You know, if I had $1 for every time I told Lord, Lord, can we just start all over again? You know, I love you and I know you love me.
I tell working God.
I can't go back and change it. I done messed up now. I can't clean it up. The milk is, can we just start all over again? You know what I mean? And that's all you can do and make it a joyous tomorrow and the rest of the day. You know? Because you have so much that she should, you know, I know she's proud of you. She's probably so proud that she don't want you to know how proud she is. You can't have a mother that came from a little small town in North Carolina, back in the woods, we could say, because it's a wooded area, come out and you started from a humble beginning, actually being a seamstress, and you were so good that you were hired and ran the whole fabric center, been in manufacturing, and then you came up to be the platinum costume award winner for Sheba's Son, by Sheba's Son.
Son of Sheba, I just won a platinum costume design award about 3 weeks ago. Yes.
Yeah, and then all the awards that you won after that, all the fashion shows that you won, all of New York fashion, walkway, runway, you cannot tell me she's not proud. But she can give a flipping lizard about that because she wants her mother. She wants you to come bring that love to her. You've been giving yourself to the world. She's saying, now what about me? That's where we got to get you to. What about me? You got.
Well, I have to start over because
you got to get naked and start all over again.
Yeah, I started over like 2016. I started over, and you know, I thought it was I thought that the situation was fixed. You know, we were getting along and everything until my sister passed. You know, and so you know, I did put in our chat. We have a family chat. I put in that chat. You know, that I've apologized. All the things that you said, I put in the chat, and I said that, but I refuse to be a prisoner. Yeah. For the rest of my life to something. Yeah. I can't continue to be a prisoner to it.
Yeah. Well, you got to free yourself. It's going to come around. Like I say, this is a good sign because when mothers and daughters come before me, and I'm not saying that to be arrogant, it's just that I'm anointed to work with mothers and daughters. That's my assignment. And we all have our role that God worked through us to do. And he works through me to help mothers and daughters. And I know that this was not an accident. I know this was a purpose meeting. And I know that God has your answer because you've been praying and you've been asking. And so just like if you're dealing with a heart problem, you pray and you say, God, send me the best heart doctor that I can find. You know, who's the best out there? And he's going to send you the very best. And he will work through whomever he knows that can make whatever you need better. So he used me that way. And I'm blessed and I'm glad that he does because he'll use any of us if we just will allow him. It's not that I'm special. God will use anybody if they would allow him because he has so much work in the earth to do. So it's a done deal. The one thing that I would want you to do is to say, tell if you were speaking to your daughter right now, look into this camera, what would you say to her?
I would say to her, I thought that I got it right, but apparently I hadn't. I didn't get it right. So, you know, if you would just allow me another opportunity to come back and let's revisit this again and see if we, you know, we can fix that, to fix this situation, because I love my children, you know, and I'll tell anybody that I love my children. I love that they've given me grandchildren, and I don't want to leave this world, leave this earth, not knowing what the problem really is. Yeah, I really don't. Yeah.
And another thing too, include her.
Yeah.
Ask her, help, since you have a better idea.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a mother. So you're going to have to lay your stuff on the table here.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a mother that to teach me. And believe it or not, I tell parents, you cannot parentify a child. A child don't have the experience to raise other children.
Yeah.
And parents will put that responsibility on them, and they get in their mind, you know what? When I get grown, I am not going to be, I don't want any children. I don't want to take care of anybody, you know, and then all of a sudden you get pregnant, you got a child. Now you're set into this motion. And you really got in the back of your mind what you've been saying all along when you're taking care of somebody else's children. Did you feed them? Did you get their homework done? Did you fix in the dinner for them? And see, the mother don't realize, she's thinking, you're the oldest, you should help me. But no, you're the oldest, so you can raise the children. I'm going to be the man. I'm going to go out and get the money. No, you was not equipped to be a mother because she didn't know how to be a mother, and she couldn't equip you. So now you're raising siblings that don't even know either. So I'm sure they're struggling in some way. Unless God sends someone across your path, you're all going to struggle to raise families. That's that's the purpose of
that is so true. That is so true, because it's 6 of us, and I remember my dad said, how in the world can I have 6 children and we've all been married, but none of us are married? None of us are married now. We've all been married, but none of us are married. We all have kids, but none of us are married.
Dealing with your issues.
Yeah.
Unresolved issues. And I tell mothers and daughters that if you don't get it right with your daughter, it's going to be hard for her to get married, have a family, because she won't know how to treat her husband. And men really get a bad name and a bad what I want to say, you always blaming the man for not being the person that he should be, but the man came from a woman. See, mothers are responsible for the children. There's no man that just popped up by himself. It had to be a mother. And when you see a man that really don't like women, men that just seem to take advantage of women, or don't want to be involved with women, or just don't see them as the queens that they should be, you know, it's because they wasn't raised that way. They don't know. They don't know. It starts with the mother. And people say, Dr. Fletcher, why do you talk about the mother all the time? I said, because every human that comes into the earth come through a woman that is renamed mother.
You know what? You in saying that, Dr. Fletcher, even my son said, Mom, I'm never going to see you with another man. I'm never going to see Dad with another woman. And he's 36 years old. And you're right. The thing is, you're my mama, and I'm not going to ever see you with no other man except for my dad. You know, and the same for his dad. I'm not going to see you with no other woman.
And then now that's another prison.
Yeah.
As he lived his life.
Yeah.
Because see, he doesn't know. See, there's a lot of healing here. There's a lot of things that you got to sit down, and we can't do it all in 1 hour. What we're doing is touching on just enough that mothers and daughters out there can say, wow, I can relate to Van. I can relate to Dr. Fletcher. If they having problems, then I know it's okay with me to deal with my problems, because, you know, people beat themselves up because they think they're the only one going through. It's hard to be a mother. It's hard to juggle and work and raise children. And when you got more than one, you got different personalities. Now you got to be able to juggle those personalities and make sure you got a balance in there and work your job and cook the dinner and take care of your husband and try to find some space for yourself. It is not an easy job. That's why I tell teenagers, think before you go and make the mistake. Because once you have that child, your life is changed forever.
It's over. It's over.
It's changed. You know, and it's not, and even when the child grows up and graduate from high school, you're thinking, oh, I'm free. I used to see when Angie my daughter walked across the stage, high school, I was so glad she didn't get pregnant. I would say, oh, thank you, Jesus, we made it through. Then we got through that, and I'm thinking, well, my job is over. No, now you stop parenting. You're mothering before. Now you stop parenting, because if you have any type of relationship, they're going to come back home. When she got married, I said, you keep your key, because if something happens, that key opens the store. That's a 24-hour, entry. And what did I say that for? Every time she got angry, 2:00 in the night, I hear the door open. Here she come in. Oh, Lord. Okay, what's going on now? Do you want to talk? No. Okay, I'll talk to you in the morning. Then about 30 minutes, here he come knocking on the door. Finally, I had to tell them, let me tell y'all something. I'm going to call the attorney, and we're going to get you a divorce. And you're going to pay me all my money back, because I told you if you didn't stay together for a year, I get all my money back. So I cannot wear your marriage and my marriage too, because I'm dealing with my own marriage. You see, you didn't want to go to college. You wanted to get married. I told her, get back in the ring. That's where you want it to be. So mothering never stops. And even when you leave and you transition home, you still hear in their minds, and they still talk about you, and you still live. You want to be able to live in a loving, forgiving way. You don't want them to badmouth you when you're in heaven having a good time. Why are they still
talking about me? I'm going to have a good time. Because I'm going to have a good time.
You're having a good time. Is that what? Did she say something negative about me? You're looking at your family member. They say, yeah, she just said something negative. But that girl, you know what I mean? So you want to clean it up before you leave. I'm making light of it. But the reality is you can't continue. We're getting older. And, you don't want them to have to feel that they have to take care of you. You want them to feel that they're doing it out of love.
Yeah.
That's true. We're going to make sure that happens. This is absolutely a wonderful conversation. I love it. I'm beginning to love my job. You know what I mean? And I was fighting this thing for a while.
You know what? I think the thing of it is, Dr. Fletcher, is when you truly learn who you are and you can honestly be honest with yourself. I tell women all the time, you have to get naked in front of that mirror every morning. And you got to look at every lump, hump, bump that you got going on. And if there is one, but I don't, then you don't love yourself. I had to do that. I'm like, I tell myself all the time, girl, I love you. And you have to be able to tell yourself that in spite of, I love you, Oh, but I don't like my arm. No, then you don't love you.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
I use that all the time because, I deal with women that on a runway and they come and I hear all kinds of things and I'm like, but you got to love yourself. You can't pop right back to that little 3-4 when you have a kid. You're not going to do that. So you got to learn to love you. And even at my age, I have learned to love me. And I think that is the only thing that really keeps me going, is because I love myself. And I deserve the best. And we have to say that to ourselves every day. And
I had that conversation with me this morning. Sometimes people will try to make you feel like, you're something that you're not. And when I was getting dressed this morning, I said, you know what? I am going to enjoy this conversation today. I am going to enjoy what I'm doing, because Bessie, you are your worst enemy. You're dreading doing it, even though God asked you to do it. He gets no glory because you're doing it and saying, well, I don't know how to work this and that. Just shut your mouth and enjoy it. And something came over me, and I had this feeling of, enlightenment, and I felt light, and I thought, you know what? I shook my hair. I said, yes, I'm going to do this.
Yes.
I'm going to do this, and I'm going to have fun doing it. And that's where I am right now. You know, I'm going to have fun doing it. And no better person than you. You know, this is getting better and better. I am excellent in the counseling room, you know, and I can speak in front of thousands. But when it comes to technology, I allow Satan to try to tell me, you don't know how to run this, and you can't do that on Zoom. But he's a liar. I have too many degrees not to be able to run a Zoom. So come on with it. You know, I had to shift myself in my thinking. I can do all things through Christ. Come on, either you're going to believe it or you're not, Bessie. So get yourself dressed and get on out there and talk to fans. Let's do this. You know, and what I like, and I don't want to leave without this, to tell the audience that you have a show on Prime, and the show is Why Did I Become a Model? And the twist to it is, audience, is that it's not your runway model, even though that's her thing, the designer, and she dressed people. I love the term dress. You know, I dress them, and I'm like, wow. Whew, I'm going to be pampered. I'm going to be dressed by Van Miller. But it's about who you are, the model that you're portraying to the world. How do people see you? What a good concept. What a twist on that thing.
It's my ministry. It's my ministry. I've been out here doing this some 40 years, and they just asked me to come and sit down and host this show. And I said, oh, okay, I'll do that. But immediately when I sat down and I started talking to the first lady, and I was like, wow, this is not about no model on the runway. This is about her life and what it is that she's going through. And so, you know, I realized that it is a ministry. And, you know, I deal with these women not only on the television network, but they call me, they inbox me. And so you sort of become that go-to person for them when they have things going on, you know, with their lives, because, you know, it's not about beautiful clothing and hair and makeup and, you know, how they walk, but why and how did they get on, and why are they on that runway?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's end it with this. I have to do it. I'm going to be a little selfish. How do you feel about the mother and daughter bonding magazine?
Oh my God. So I know that it was something that was given to me by God through you. It was given to me. You know, I've been an editor of some other previous issues of other magazines, and I sort of got it the same way that, you know, you gave it to me, and it was like God said, oh, you need to do this. But I feel that it is a true outlet to help me help to heal other people through you, and what it is that all the other ladies that are involved in the magazine are doing and going through. It's a true healing. I'm excited about it. Exciting to have my picture in there, because it says that I've opened myself up to want to be healed. And, you know, I feel like the more that I talk about it and carry that with me, it will definitely, you know, heal me, because, you know, I'm open with people. And so a lot of the people here know my story. I don't hide that I don't have a good relationship, you know, with my family and with my children. And so I think that it's a great platform for me to still do ministry and still tell people that, you know what, it's okay, but we can fix it. Because in reading some of the articles that are in this issue, I mean, it is absolutely amazing. I think that is definitely something that people need to go on, get their own issue, read, and see where they fall. In there, you know, because I think that everybody, you know, in my editor's corner, I talk about that, because everybody has something that they're dealing with. And I guarantee you will find yourself in the Mother-Daughter Bonding magazine.
And we want you to send us your story too. You know, send us your story so we can look at it and see if we can share that with the world. they can go to our website at mdbn.org. That's mdbn.org. Pick up the
Yes.
magazine. Let us know. Send us some information. Let us know what we're doing, and you like it. I just think it's a beautiful. We take our hat off to Samantha. She did an awesome job of laying that magazine out. It's just
amazing.
absolutely gorgeous. It's God all the way. So tell the audience how they can get in touch with you, how that they can solicit you. I know you're very busy. You can't dress everybody. And I don't want you to get too busy that you can't dress me. So how can they find you if you have projects and things that they're doing and they need someone to dress their characters?
Yeah, well, I use Instagram most of the time now. You can get me on Instagram at Van Miller International. Our website is www.vanmillerinternational.com. You can find us at the House of Van Miller on Facebook, Vanessa Henderson on Facebook, and you can call us at 404-290-2239. And you can also reach out to us through my talk show, the Van Miller Talk Show, I Found My Voice. You can find us on the XOD television network. We have a channel there, and just a little bit everywhere.
Or you can ride along Atlanta Highway and see her on the billboards in Atlanta.
Yeah, and we are part of billboards that are all over the city here in Atlanta. I think that Court World now, you can even put up billboards in the airport, on the back of the buses here, and then at the waiting stations where the bus come. So, there are a lot of platforms that you can find us at, or you can see us on the movie screen, because we have a lot of things.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And last but not
doctor. I just found out yesterday that I did a movie where I was a Dr. Miller, and so yesterday I got to see where my name fell in the credits, and I'm just absolutely amazed at 62 years of age that something like this would come along for me.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah.
And you know what? The good thing about it, you need to have people who genuinely are excited for you, because that's basically how we get paid. When somebody can see God in you, and it's not a bragging point. It's just that God is allowing, he's opened the doors. I'm excited because I'm like this. When I'm around somebody, the blessings are flowing. I'm like in line, looking down the aisleway, like, okay, where are we now? What number am I? Because he had me on this line, so that means my blessings are right up the way. Let me just keep going.
You know what, Dr. Fletcher? So I used to say, you know what? If you're gonna go with Van Miller, I didn't know I was Van Miller then. I was still with that same. I used to say, if you go with me, the boat is at the dock. You better get on. I said, because when it goes a little bit further in the water, you can take a ship and get another boat and get out there. I said, but when I get in the middle of the ocean, you come out there on that little dinghy, I'm going to spin up some water and drown you.
Don't mess with Van Miller. I love the name.
Ship is in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, I love the name Van Miller. I said, boy, that just characterized you, to the point. Sometimes I'd be like, Van Jones, because everybody know about Van Jones. You're Van Miller. Van Miller is such a powerful name.
Yeah. Your name it's my family name. It's my family name. Van is short for Vanessa, and Miller is my family name. And so I chose it because, we just live in an era, in a space where people put titles onto you. Van Miller meant that I wasn't white, I wasn't black, I wasn't a man or a woman. And so for a long time, like when I would do things, I never came out. So you never saw who this person really was.
Who's Van Miller?
I was Van Miller, but when I came out, everybody said, oh my God, you're Van Miller? Because look, I'm good in a titty shoe and a pair of jeans and a t-shirt with no makeup, no nothing. I'm good with that. So, one of my friends said, oh, you're the humble mogul. So, I just do what I do. I do what it is that God has given me to do. And every day that I get up, I just want to make sure that I am on the path in my journey doing what it is that he has given me, even before I was ever conceived in my mother's womb, that I'm doing that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it has absolutely been wonderful. Thank you for sharing. I love the conversation. I
Yeah.
think it's healing. And I think when your daughter look at this particular show and hear what you had to say, I'm hoping that somewhere, daughter, in your heart, that you will say, you know what? I'm going to have this conversation. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
All you got to do is make a decision and decide that you're going to change. And it happens. It's just like that. You have to make a decision to accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. Boom, you're saved. It's instant. So I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Just keep doing what you're doing. And I love hearing the stories. And, you know, audience, despite all that you're going through, she didn't even tell you she was just in the hospital last week.
A week today.
She didn't even tell you that, you know, with all the stuff that she was going through, and they were telling her different things. She said, no, that's not happening. Came right back out and started sewing and finishing up a wedding dress for a
bride.
Young lady, a bride that's getting married. You know, so in spite of all of that, there's an underlying strength that is carrying her. And it has to be God, you know, because the human can only take so much. Yeah. And we break down. But in spite of all of that, what I want you to carry from this show today is that no matter what I'm going through, if I trust God, I can keep going, and God just take care of things that's flowing behind you. You keep going, and God's going to take care of the mess that's behind you. And then all of a sudden, it'll catch up, and you'll be in that place where you're supposed to be when you look at Jesus. That's my take on it. I thank you so very much, Van Miller, my friend.
Thank you.
I love you.
I
appreciate you. And we'll talk later.
All righty. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, artists, for joining us on My Mother, My Daughter. Have a blessed day.